Hey y'all, Brent here. I've been a bit busy the past couple of weeks with other projects, but there's been a lot of great Americana, alt-country, independent roots music coming out recently, and I just wanted to do a quick video to round up some of my favorite releases of this year so far. So this is the Summer 2025 Americana and Country Roundup. Let's get into it. We'll start out here with the singles and then move on to albums. First off of a much anticipated release, Tyler Childers with Oneida. Now, I know I'm going to be posting this either the day of or slightly before the Snipe Hunter album release, which I'm very excited for, and even though I'm going to still do a full review of that album after it comes out, I wanted to talk about this single real quick because I think it's amazing. This is an older song that's been kicking around for a while. There are videos of Tyler playing this back in the 2010s or so, but this song is about the star-crossed relationship between a young man and a much older woman. We're going to assume for the sake of our own comfort level that this is an above-board kind of relationship, just maybe he's between 18 and 21. But obviously Tyler makes reference to that and pokes fun at it with lines like, "Buy us some wine," or talking to the bouncer outside the club who won't let him in because he's not old enough, her referencing movies that he's too young to know. It's lighthearted, I think that's important to stress. But I really like this song. I mean, I think the lyricism on it is pretty solid, but what really gets me is that gigantic guitar part. Or maybe it's a pedal steel part? I'm not entirely sure because it's so blown out with modulation that it's really hard to tell, but it just sounds like the universe caving in on itself, and I just think it's incredible. We now have a track list for the album, and we know that despite many fans' hopes that Jersey Giant and Messed Up Kid aren't going to be on this album, which is a little disappointing, but you know, I'm still very excited for what we're going to get here in a few days' time, if not today. I'm not sure when I'm going to be editing this. But yeah, Oneida, solid song. While we're in Kentucky, let's go ahead and hop over to the local Honeys with their new song, Space Girls Song. This song, I believe, has actually been kicking around for a while as well. I found some videos of them playing this back in 2012, 2014, somewhere around there. But this is the first time they've actually released it officially. This is a pretty cool song. It's got some kind of rootsy vibes to it, but it also incorporates some elements of psychedelic music, especially in the intro where it's this kind of big spacey guitar part. Almost reminds me a bit of the intro to In Memory of Elizabeth Reed by the Allman Brothers Band. But yeah, this is a really neat story song. It's kind of like a western in space. Definitely recommend it if you're interested in kind of like cosmic country type of stuff. A couple weeks back, I actually got to open for the local Honeys at the Bright Box Theater in Winchester, Virginia. They've got a great live show, definitely worth seeing if they come through your town, and they're kind of on tour all the time, so check your local venue calendars, and if you see them, definitely go out and watch the show. Next up, we've got a release that I've been anticipating for a long time, and that's Amanda Shires is back with her song Away It Goes. We've known Amanda has been working on new music for a while now, but it kind of came down to a question of, okay, when is this going to come out? Because she's had a rough couple of years. Obviously, there's the very public divorce from fellow singer-songwriter Jason Isbell. Her father passed away recently, and I believe another member of her family did as well. So she's had a rough go at it recently, but she's back with new music, and this is definitely kind of a healing song. It's clear from the lyrics that Amanda has processed through some of the worst she's been through recently, and even though some of those feelings are still lingering, it does feel like from the lyrics of this song that she's coming to terms with things and figuring out how to move on stronger. One thing I find really interesting about the story behind this song is Amanda chose to record this in Los Angeles as opposed to Nashville so that none of their mutual friends would be caught in the crossfire of their divorce. I appreciate that. I think that's a great integrity move and also kind of shows some growth in trying to move on from the situation. This is the first single off of a new album that's going to be coming out in the fall called Nobody's Girl. Amanda did a great interview in Rolling Stone talking about this song and talking about this album, as well as her life the past couple of years. I highly recommend you check it out. It's very thoughtful, it's very well constructed. She's open and honest, but she also doesn't come off as bitter or jaded or anything. I don't know, I really just respect her as an artist. I definitely think you should check out that interview because it puts a lot of things in context and shows that she's really trying to grow and move on into the future. Moving on, I want to talk about a pretty buzzy artist that I think a lot of us are becoming hip to recently, and that is Kashus Culpeper. I discovered him recently just watching CBS Saturday Morning. I love to watch the Saturday sessions when it's on, and I quickly went down a rabbit hole and listened to his whole discography. He's got a really great voice, some great songwriting, and a beautiful sound to his music. Highly recommend you check him out. And the particular song I want to focus on is his song Southern Man. I like this song because it's about staying true to yourself even in the face of a lot of changes. I'm sure that's something that Kashus has experienced recently as his star has started to rise. I also appreciate the song as a positive depiction of Southern culture because, sometimes we get a bad rep and, sometimes rightfully so. But as BJ Barham once said, I believe in a better South, and it sounds to me like Kashus Culpeper does as well. But yeah, highly recommend you listen to Southern Man, or really any of his songs, honestly. He's got a pretty solid discography, as short as it is. Kashus also has a new song out with his next artist, but that's actually not the one I want to talk about. I want to talk about Sierra Ferrell and finally having a recorded version of Don't Let Your Deal Go Down. I don't know how I missed that a deluxe version of Trail of Flowers came out in January, but one of the tracks on it was this song, Don't Let Your Deal Go Down. This song was actually my intro to Sierra Ferrell when a video of her playing this went semi-viral in country spaces, so I was very excited to see that she finally had a version of this song streaming. And now, even though I'm excited that I'm going to finally be able to add this to my playlist, I'll be honest, I think I like the version in that video a little bit better. It's a little bit more raw, a little more gritty, and it doesn't really play with the arrangement quite as much. It's a little bit tighter. This new version is still good, I just think I like the video one more. But also on this deluxe album, she had this new song, The Garden. She uses the garden as a metaphor for an old love dying and a new one growing in its place. The songwriting is straight out of the 50s and 60s, which honestly, I mean that in the best way possible. Sierra has always had kind of a throwback sound, that's a big part of her appeal, but even then she always keeps it fresh and new. Also great use of fiddle and steel. The production on this song sounds beautiful. So a couple other songs I want to touch on real quick. Jason Isbell just released a song called Should I Go Missing with his deluxe reissue for the 10th anniversary of Something More Than Free. It's fine. There's a reason it was left off the album, I feel like. It really isn't that strong of a song. And while I'm always excited to hear new Jason Isbell, I'm not really blown away by this one. Carll has a new song and a new album coming out. The song's titled Progress of Man, Bitcoin and Cattle. It's a pretty fun look at the modern era. I'm a huge Carll fan. I think he's one of the greatest living songwriters, definitely one that's underrated. I think a lot of people kind of get turned away from him because he definitely has a bit of a rougher, different type of voice, but he plays into it pretty well in a lot of stuff, and you just cannot deny his talent as a songwriter. Lastly, Morgan Wade has this new single out called The Party Is Over. This song made me excited about Morgan Wade's music for the first time in a while. I love her album Reckless. I think it's one of the greatest debut albums I've ever heard. I also think just generally it's one of my favorite albums. But I'll be honest, the two albums that we've gotten since then haven't really quite clicked with me. Perhaps the magic of working with Sadler Vaden wore off a little bit. I also think she kind of leaned into that sort of 80s thing for a little while, and I don't really feel like she totally grew into it. Now that's just my opinion, but it wasn't really working for me. This song though, I'm pretty excited about, and I have high hopes for her new album. I'm going to go over some of my favorite new albums here in a moment, but before I do, just want to say that if you're enjoying this video, please go ahead and follow along, subscribe. I talk about Americana, country, roots music generally on this channel, and I might be talking about some of your favorite songwriters here soon. Alright, albums. I've got 3 that I want to talk about, and they are all heaters. First up, Cat Hasty, The Time of Your Life. I had always heard that Cat Hasty was an amazing songwriter, but I'll be honest, up until recently, I wasn't really familiar with a whole lot of her material. But this album just blew me away. And I think that's been the case for a lot of people who listen to this album. Though I've mostly seen it on the underground kind of indie country circuit, fan spaces online, I've seen a lot of people talking about the energy around this record as if it were purgatory in 2017, just a game-changing record. Cat made a lot of fans quickly on this album, and I think that that is well deserved. The songwriting is incredibly sharp, there's a lot of great wordplay on this album, and she delivers it with such a snark and personality, it's really incredible. In fact, if I have one criticism of this album, it's that that bit I feel like might be played up just a tiny bit too much, but I want to make it very clear that that is a very, very minor criticism on my part. I love this album. It's also impressive to note that this album is self-produced, which is quite an incredible feat for a young artist like herself to produce an album of this quality, and to be able to pull it off perfectly with the songwriting, the production, and the performance. Lots of great fiddle and steel on here, some great performances, but it's also a little gritty too, which really complements her songwriting and her voice. It's hard to pick a favorite song on this album, but I'd have to go with Kalispell, The West Isn't Wild Anymore, The Best We Can, and Chance to Be Alive are some of my favorites on it. But there really is not a clunker on this album, and at 10 songs long and clocking in at 31 minutes, why not just go ahead and listen to all of them? There is not a single bad song in this album. I love it, highly recommend it. Check out Cat Hasty. Another favorite album so far this year has gotta be S.G. Goodman's Planting by the Signs. This is an absolutely stunning new release from this Kentucky singer-songwriter. I first became aware of S.G. Goodman back in 2023. I saw her opening up for Jason Isbell, and I thought she had some good songs. A couple of them got stuck in my head, and I also knew that she wrote that song Space and Time that was on Tyler Childers' last album. So when I saw some people online talking about her song Snapping Turtle, I knew I had to check it out, and holy shit, chills. I mean, this song just reminded me of a bunch of people that I knew from back home and what it feels like anytime I go back there. This song kind of broke my brain when I heard it, and I knew whatever was coming next was going to be great. There are some real earworms on this album. Like, I keep finding myself singing the refrain from Nature's Child and bits and pieces of Fire Sign. But there's also some really great storytelling on here, and Goodman is a master of the one-liner. Like, in the song Fire Sign, she has this line, "I've been living like the sun don't shine on the same dog's ass every day." I mean, just who writes something like that? That is so good. Or then lines like in her song I'm in Love, where she's talking about writing off things that she hasn't bought yet and checking out Walmart collections of underwear. I think she's just a really great writer with a really strong command of small details. I mean, I think the fact that it's Walmart underwear specifically is very funny, very endearing, adds a lot to the song. Even though Snapping Turtle hooked me in, the knockout song on this album is absolutely the closing track, Heaven Song. I'm not even going to talk too much about it. It's an 8-minute story song, but you just have to hear it. Like, I think there's no other way around it. Just pause this video, go listen to it, and come back and let me know what you think in the comments, because it is just a ride. It is incredible. It shows what a lyricist she is. Goodman's style might be a bit more indie, but I think any fans of good songwriting and good storytelling will appreciate this album. She is an exceptional lyricist. Go listen to it. I also want to just give a quick shout out to Deep Groove Records in Richmond, Virginia. I was in town over the weekend and I really wanted to find a copy of this album, so went over to Deep Groove. First time I was going, I saw Patterson Hood post about it like 2 years ago and have been following them on Instagram ever since. I'm walking up to the shop with my wife and lo and behold, Planting by the Signs is playing through the speakers of the shop. Like, he literally had the record on the turntable. It was just a crazy moment of serendipity that happened to be playing, and I just wanted to share that because it was a really fun experience. I met Jay, the owner, and bought a copy of the record from him. Jay's a really cool guy, told us some stories about Patterson Hood, Drive-By Truckers, Jason Isbell, all this stuff. I highly recommend that if you're in town, if you're in Richmond, go check out their shop. Support your local record stores. Last album I want to talk about is Muscadine Bloodline with What Was Left Behind. I'm usually a little bit hit or miss on Muscadine Bloodline. Their sound doesn't always do it for me, but I really liked this record. It's a little bit more rootsy, a little bit more folky than their typical sound, at least what I've heard from them in the past. But very strong songwriting. If I'm wrong about this, let me know, but I'm kind of guessing based on the title as well as the cover art that this is a continuation of their last album, The Coastal Plain. But they've been making a name for themselves this past couple of years. They're an independent country band, kind of duo from Alabama, I believe. They've been friends since high school, and some of that has actually been incorporated into this album. I think it's really interesting that they're telling their story on this. I really love Chickasaw Church of Christ, Deer in the Headlights, Borrowing a Broken Heart, and also the album's closing track, Meant to Be Friends. That is a really beautiful love song. Alright, and I want to do something kind of different here, which is I want to highlight some projects by some artists from my home state of Virginia. So one of the reasons I founded Red Moon Recordings, which is my concert production, media, record label, whatever it needs to be company, is that I want to put a spotlight on artists from the Virginia music scene. There are a lot of great musicians in the state, a lot of great songwriters, but you don't always hear about Virginia in the wider music industry. So I want to take a quick second to highlight some of the artists and projects that I've been really enjoying from different artists in Virginia. Full disclosure, I do know a few of these artists personally, but I'm only talking about them because I really enjoy their music and believe in what they're doing. First off, a really fun single from Ella Wagner called Let's Have Fun Tonight. It's kind of a light, romantic type of song, but it's very quirky and funny. It's a great, fun song and very well written. Next, my friend Andy Stokes has an album out called Ghostwriter. It's been getting some good acclaim recently in some different publications. Definitely worth listening to. I really love the song Belong Here, which has this kind of like big sweeping chorus, as well as the song Built to Last. Just really great record all around. If you want to hear some cool vintage rock sounds, check out GXB's new song, No One to Blame. Very cool song. Rebecca Porter's been putting out a lot of new music recently. She's got an album coming out called Roll with the Punches. Really love the title track off of this album, as well as the song Payday Loans. Looking forward to it. That album's coming out August 8th. She's definitely an artist to watch, so check it out. Lastly, I really like the Low Water Bridge Band's new song, I'll Never Write a Song for You. It kind of reminds me of the Wilder Blue. It has these big vocal harmonies on it. Just really cool song. Definitely go check that out. I'm going to have all these linked below. I also run a playlist called Rising Virginia Americana that I'm going to link there as well. But basically, I just use that as an opportunity to highlight different songs and artists from my state that I really enjoy. I'm also a singer-songwriter myself. I've got some new music out. I'll put a link to my Spotify down there as well. Beyond that, still listening to the new Turnpike record, still listening to Foxes in the Snow. Someone in the comments recommended I check out Lance Rourke after my Price of Admission review, and really enjoyed his music. I'm loving that 10 Killer EP. Outside of Americana, really enjoying the new Tyler the Creator and the Clips album, but I'm going to be looking out this week for the Tyler Childers album. Very excited for that. I'm going to do a full review of it once it's out, and I've had the opportunity to listen to it a little bit. Alright, that's it for this video. Did I have any of your favorites on here, or what did I miss? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Brent Funkhauser from Red Moon Media. Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying this kind of content, please subscribe. I love talking about Americana, country, roots music generally, and I'm going to continue to do that here.